Azalea is my world. Everything that I do it with Azalea at the forefront of my mind. Azalea just... Azalea is my heart.
We were just a typical family going along in Jamaica, and our lives just changed instantly, just like that. Azalea is just the perfect, happy-go-lucky 2-year-old. Nothing keeps her down, ever, but we saw an unusual growth growing from Azalea's body. We took her to the doctors and she was formally diagnosed with cancer.
I sat there speechless for 10 minutes. Everything just became dark.
It's the worst thing you could possibly hear. They were trying to tell us what her treatment would be like there in Jamaica and what the process would be like.
Everything in Jamaica is expensive, especially medical care.
They were telling us you would have to go and buy the chemotherapy yourself. It's something you would have to buy up front.
So mentally and financially, it was a strain.
Not all chemotherapy drugs are available through insurance.
It was gonna be hectic.
On top of hoping that it's available and hoping that you can pay for it and knowing that she has to be in the hospital, it was just a really scary experience. One of the first things we said to our doctors when we got composed, we said, how do we get her to St. Jude? It was such a scary 8 hours of traveling, but we knew we were at the right place.
I do remember the day that I first met Azalea and her family. They were obviously devastated. Because of the research, because of really the resources we had here at St. Jude, I was able to look at this family at their utmost time of grief and say,
we can fix this. Those were her exact words. We just knew that when she said that, it was true. That alone makes my heart smile. It really does make my heart smile to know that she's gonna get through this.
Azalea has a tumor called rhabdomyosarcoma. Her case is quite unique because of the location of her tumor. We were very fortunate that Azalea was able to come here to St. Jude because we were able to provide a very specialized surgery for her. In fact, the first surgery that was ever done here of this type at St. Jude.
After 16 weeks of chemotherapy, she was totally cancer-free, and it was the best news we could have ever heard.
Azalea is one of those cases where we were able to provide very specialized care here at St. Jude. This is going to allow her to grow up, be a normal child. We're incredibly thankful for that.
When I heard that she had a tumor, I thought I had lost it. All I was seeing was darkness. When I came to St. Jude, that's when I started to get back some light in my life.
Azalea, for me, is a special place in my heart. I see this really excited 3-year-old. I see the future. And I see a girl who is determined, incredibly intelligent, and I'm just really thankful that I got to be a really small piece of where she's going to be in life.
On top of having the first-class, best care, all of your needs are taken care of so that you can zoom in and just focus on this child.
I'm just looking forward to her growing up as a normal child, having fun, going to church, going to school, going to the beach, being a child and me being the best dad I can be.
St. Jude saved her life, and it saved us as a family. And for that, we'll be forever grateful.
All right, this is why we do it, to be able to help families and children who are dealing with cancer. And you guys have stepped up and done an outstanding job. We are at $5,260. That puts us $740 away from reaching our goal of $6,000. And whatever you've given so far, we truly, truly appreciate it. We know you guys have sacrificed. Some of you have actually given more than once over the last couple of months that we've been doing this. This campaign does not end today. This campaign will run all the way until CitizenCon weekend. October 22nd will be when we wrap this up. And we want to reach as close to the goal, if not exceed the goal of $10,000, and you guys can help us do it. If you've given, once again, we appreciate you. If you can't give, we understand. All we ask is that you share the information, let other people know about what it is we're doing. They may not be into Star Citizen, but more than likely they do know about St. Jude Children's Hospital, I'm sure. Don't underestimate that $5, $10, or even $100, whatever people can give, they will give it. And we really appreciate you guys spreading the word. So that's that on Azalea. Here we go, gang. We are 94 entrants. 94 folks have jumped in. We are 4 minutes and 13 seconds into the giveaway. At 5 minutes exactly, which is in 42 seconds, we are going to push the button, and one of you will be the winner of an RSI Polaris. Don't forget to type in ! ticket if you are interested in this particular giveaway. We really appreciate our angel donor who has graciously and generously given toward this program in this campaign that we've been doing for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Soul citizens are here. Let's get ready to punch it. Let's see, who do we have? Let's use our guest. First time here. Let's introduce our guest, Angry PC. Tech, thank you for being here. Thank you for making the time. 2 shows back to back, yesterday and now today. But we appreciate you accepting our invitation. How are you tonight?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. My wife is in the kitchen cooking something that smells absolutely delicious.
Ooh.
So I'm passing that up to be here. Steak, potatoes, shrimp. It's going to be cold when I get off the air.
Well, listen,
it
if you
smells amazing.
If you want to eat it on the air, we won't be mad at you because I wouldn't pass up that meal either.
Wouldn't either.
But since you're here and this is our first time here, we're going to ask you to give us the countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to pick our winner. So let me close this giveaway out. Giveaway is closed, and whenever you're ready.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2. What was it we're giving away again?
We're giving away in his radio voice an RSI Polaris with LTI.
All right. I guess you can go ahead and push the button 1.
Push the button 1. Here we go. Boom. Illusion Illusion X, are you here? Illusion X Illusion.
Got a 1% chance to win.
Are you here?
Congratulations, you got
It's
that.
not bad. Let's see if they're here. Maybe they went to the bathroom or something. I don't know. Maybe they stepped away. They probably said, "Oh, I'm
Sounds
not
like
gonna
one of my
win."
stream.
They probably said, "I'm not gonna win. Let me go get something to drink."
He said 30K.
Oh, God. Yeah, the name hasn't popped up yet. Uh-oh.
You gotta chat. You gotta say something in chat. There it is. There they
Good
are.
googly moogly.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
I can't believe I won. Yes, you won. Excellent.
Believe it, I can believe I lost. I never win these things.
Yeah, well, I will tell you once again, our donor has made it very clear that they wanted all of the Soul citizens to have an opportunity to win this. So, Illusion X, thank you for being here and congratulations on your win. Please know that you have to send us an email to soulcitizens with an S at the end at gmail.com. Soul, S-O-L, soulcitizens@gmail.com. Send us your RSI email and we will get this out to you as soon as we possibly can. So once again, congratulations. Okay. All righty. Let's get ready to rumble. Are you guys ready?
Yes, do
You
it.
guys are ready. Okay. So
Ready as we'll ever be.
today's show, I don't know why I didn't have the graphic in here. Let's go around the room real quick and introduce who we have. We have at the very top, kicking us off, the man himself. That beard is growing out more and more, brother. You looking more and more distinctive every week. the man himself, GomabbATL. Hey, that's the new bit. Well, I ain't seen you in a while, brother. It looks good on you.
Yeah,
It
you
looks
haven't seen-
good.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, good googling.
Oh, look at
moogling.
that.
Oh
Right
my
about that hair
God.
growing out.
Oh
All
God.
shades of gray.
Baby, what's up? Get ready for
Uh,
summer 2024. Watch out, I'm on somebody's beats.
I know. GoMab, your mic is soft for some reason. It almost sounds like you're coming through
Hey, I
your
turned him up on my
camera.
end.
Yeah, it sounds like you're coming more through your camera more than your mic because you're definitely much.
Is that a little bit better?
Woo!
That's
Way
There you
better.
go.
There we go.
There we
The
go.
mute button works miracles.
There we go. All right.
So I just cranked it up about 9.
You're good. You're sounding real good now.
all right.
Thank you, my brother.
All right.
Next to him, coming back for a second round, the man himself from down under, Kalrati. How are you, man?
I am good. It is good to be back. I'm very excited to see what we have in store today. Hello, community. Hello, the Soul Citizen and guest crew.
Okay. GoMob and Kelosal. I know Jade was here earlier, but y'all wasn't here earlier. Guess who showed up? Grimhex Brethren showed up earlier.
I was gonna say that.
He showed up in his gold and everything. And we got him to commit that if we hit our $10,000 mark, he will give away a signed autographed gold shirt to whoever gets us across the line. So we'll have a giveaway for it. So he showed up today in all his glory.
All I gotta say is I was running the show at that point in time, and he was very distracting.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes, he was in his own special way, as special as he is. Next to Kalrati, coming today for her first time here today is Jade, Starwatcher. Jade, how are you?
Hey, how's my audio?
Your audio's good.
Okay,
Your audio's
yeah,
good.
I'm doing
Sound
fine.
amazing. Sound great.
Rumor has it that you have been to a certain place in the verse. Is this true?
Yeah, the rumors are true. I have been to the Stanton to Pyro jump point, and I have the pictures to show for it. If you go to our Soul
She got the
Citizen
receipts.
Discord, link down below. Yeah,
You got the receipts,
was out
huh?
there with- Yep, definitely.
Okay.
Went out there with Dark Knight 75, the Soul Citizen
Ah.
crew, and Lady Space Patrol, and some people who were in chat here. I added them to a party, and we all jumped in.
Very nice. Jade, they say you're a little soft. You're good for me, but they say you're a little bit quiet.
Oh,
So you may have to bring
really?
your
Okay,
bring
I
your
can-
audio up
I
just a
can
little
definitely-
bit. Yeah, can you
definitely
boost a
fix
little
that.
bit? Cool.
Yep.
Griffin, I'm not trying to make more work for you, but I know why there's something seems off. You're on the wrong presentation. You have this Soul Citizen presentation. You put it on the charity presentation.
You
The
lost.
All right.
scene. The scene.
How's this sound? Is it still soft?
That's better.
No, you're
It's
good.
That's better. That's better.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, my big fix is that I was just before this 8 o'clock segment, I was in the verse, and I had gone to
Yeah.
I was out at the jump point. It's really cool.
Fastcart is
It is.
absolutely right, guys. I got to change the presentation.
You don't have to. I'm just saying. That's why it seems off.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to break the show because I had slides and stuff that go on the second show, but we can live without them. We can live without
Okay.
them.
Because I'm here.
Is that what it is? Yeah, yeah, because you're here. All right.
It's been a long day.
Also
everybody.
joining us
It's been a
down to
long
the-
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
It has.
the bottom right side, we've got our friend Kelosal is back. How are you, Kelosal?
Hello. Yes, I'm starting to go ahead and sneak back in on my little busy schedule to help out with the streams. Give to this noble cause. What, a little bit under 600 and more to go, Griff, and you'll be at 6,000.
Absolutely,
So,
we're getting there. You
give
know
to
what?
your husband.
We
Matter of
just
fact,
had-
we just got
we just
$10 from Wesley.
That's right.
Yeah,
we just
I
had
just saw that,
another
so-
$10.
Thank you,
Thank
Wesley.
you.
Awesome.
It's going to be back. I also like to lady note that my lovely university here is undefeated, and we're back in Playboys. But again, the world of college football gods tend to hate Florida State because all we do is win and we drop in the polls. So I just want to sit there and just put that out there to the football gods. When are you going to respect the daddy back into the business?
The football god. So you're referring to me, is what you're saying.
Oh, you guys barely won, sir. Let's see. You guys barely won and didn't drop.
The operative word
It didn't drop.
being the operative word being
Yeah, didn't drop.
One.
all right.
Okay. All right. So let me ask this for a favor here.
We'll be in your conference sometime soon.
Let me ask this for a favor. We're gonna squeeze in more people when they get here. If Yo-Yo shows up, we've got Yo-Yo, and we have Dr. Murray showing up at the top of the hour too. So if everybody wants to stay, that's fine. But if anybody needs to drop at the top of the hour, just let me know. It's not a problem. FC
I
says,
volunteer a tribute.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Yeah, I can
We'll see how it goes. I know Murray's
My
coming.
bottle
I
of
haven't-
rum lives to go another day.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and hit it. We are at 5,370. We are getting there, gang. $630 is all we need. $630.
And Warpig, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate
Yes,
it. Thank
absolutely, absolutely. You guys are knocking it out of the park. We may hit that 6,000 mark. Okay. Next to me, last but not least, is fastcart. We've already introduced Angry PC Tech. Fastcart's back from earlier. He ran for about 5 hours earlier today, took a little nap, ate a little food, and he's back. So we're going to wrap up this 12-hour thing. So let's jump into.
Don't forget yourself, Griffin.
Oh, me. Yeah, I'm GriffinGamingRPG. I didn't introduce myself, did I? Like I normally do. Okay. So everybody, I think all my folks have got their, hopefully you guys have the docket up because it's not going to come up on screen since I didn't change the program. So you got to follow the docket with me. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, today's topic of the show, I was wondering why I didn't have the doggone graphic up there. The name of the day's show is Can Citizens Fix Star Citizen? That's what we're going to be talking about. And originally when I talked to Fastcart about this, the idea was to bring on a bunch of people who are in the industry, who do game development, and rattle their brains and get their feedback and their thoughts about what it is that fixes Star Citizen. I saw some positives to that, a really great thing. But the other side of it is that quite often when you ask that question, everybody thinks that they know the answer to the problem. And it's a difficult question to answer because no matter how good you are as a dev or somebody who works in the industry, the handicap that they have is that they really don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. They can only go by what they see. They can only go by what their own experiences are in their work career, but they really, it would be almost somewhat unfair to them because they just don't know everything that CIG wants to do. But they can read the tea leaves and basically take a look at what's going on and kind of give you a feel of where they think things are going and things that they think may be good and maybe some things they think maybe this might be something to be concerned about. And we're hoping that that's what people like Angry PC Tech will be able to do for us today, is kind of help guide us to navigate some of that. But we are going to talk about some things a little bit more esoteric. So let's start out with that. One of the first areas I want to ask about to the panel, and I'm going to go to Angry PC Tech first, and I'm going to hit you guys next, is communication. These are areas to me that I outlined that I say, you know, are these areas good? Do they need to be fixed? Are they horrible? You give me your feedback on that. So Angry, I'm going to go to you first. When it comes to communication from CIG, how do you rate it? If you were to say, let's just use a rating scale of 1 to 10 and then talk about why you put it there. And what do you think could be better for communication?
All right. So I'm going to be an unpopular opinion with this one, but I'm going to give them a solid 8.
Okay.
The reason being is the reason they don't tell us, sorry, my co-host is being a butthead.
You're okay.
The reason they don't give us more details is because game dev is not linear. Like we can put in, and I experience this at work all the time, is you can have a system that in one environment runs perfectly fine. And the moment, you know, what you plan to do and what you're actually able to do are two different things. You can roll something out in a test environment and be completely fine. And the moment you push it to live, the proverbial shit hits the fan. And everything you thought was going to happen doesn't. And we see this every time, you know, everybody acts shocked. PTU, oh, it's stable, you know, it's okay. It needs some more polish, but it'll be fine. And then it gets pushed to live and it falls apart. Reason being, they're two different environments. As much as we try to test for everything to be perfect, we can't, you know, what happens in testing and what happens in real life are two different things. Could they be a little bit clearer on what they're defining to be complete and ready, or what their actual testing goals are? Yes. Do they fall short in a lot of places? Yes. Could they be a little bit more transparent? Yes. But every time they are, everybody, myself included, you know, I grab my can of hopium and start inhaling so fast that I get excited for what's coming down the pipe and get ahead of what they actually said versus what's reality to happen. And I always go back to it. If we think about the flashlight, I'm sure we all remember the flashlight debacle where, you know, the flashlight on our belt was digging the hull for 1 HP. It's stuff like that that makes game development non-linear because it's not something you instantly think about.
Yeah, good points. Thank you. Kelosal, I'll go to you next. Where would you rate them 1 to 10, and what would you say needs to be fixed? What could be better if you think there's something that could be better?
Okay, is 10 being the lowest or 10 being the highest?
10's the
like,
highest.
Like really good.
10's the
Really
highest.
good type deal?
10's the highest.
Okay. I'm going a different route here, and just hear me our argument out on this. I would think that they are above 10. I mean, and the reason why, and I've said this earlier, I'm going to agree with probably everything that everybody on this panel says.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going a different route here because remember, Griff, I've had this conversation with you and everybody else. I felt that CIG was being too transparent
Mm-hmm.
because there are games out there now that are in alpha that allow testers to test for a certain limited time,
Mm-hmm.
and then they shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
And they go ahead and fix all the stuff they need to fix and maybe put it back into your email, say, hey, we're opening it back up again, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
To go to Angry's point, when they put out information, you get a lot of people who will take that and then they'll take it and go the extra mile with it and say, oh, they said this when they didn't say this, and they promised us this when the blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times I think that while in the midst of trying to be transparent, I think a lot of times I'm like, don't give us too much information. Give us some time where you shut the game off. Nobody worries about it. They go on in the world. Everybody's playing Starfield, and then boom, you cut it back on again. At least you open up the server back up again, where everybody jumps in after you've corrected and done your things like that. I mean, whatever reason they're doing it, having the servers live all day, every day is whatever reason they choose to have. But I believe that they have been very well, at least been a lot transparent. I think it's too much transparency, which causes a lot of people to go ahead and grope and gripe. And of course, the content people are gonna they want all that because they want as much content as they can to go ahead and deliver out to their audience. So they're going to be the ones fussing and all this good stuff. But I just always thought when it comes to the game development, sometimes it's best to go ahead and close the door. Sometimes give yourself to go ahead and tweak whatever you need to tweak and open it back up, maybe quarterly or whatever it is.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think that the reason why that they do keep it open, and again, I understand exactly the angle you're coming from, particularly with sometimes too much information can also bite you in the butt later on. But do you think that the revenue flow would continue? Because usually when people are in the situations you're talking about, they may have paid a flat rate for early access or beta access or whatever. Like you said, they open it up for that weekend. They say, come play, or they play it for 3 weeks like you guys did when you were playing Amazon's game. What was the game that you guys were doing? New World. Yeah. It opens up for a couple months and it shuts down. They fix some stuff. You come back. But would the revenue continue to flow with those breaks at the level that it's? I mean, do you think that might be the concern why maybe they do have to keep it open 24/7? Because if I can't play, I'm also not thinking about buying a new ship. If I'm not testing some ship, it's out of my mind. And like you said, I'm playing Starfield and I'm not throwing money at CIG anymore. Do you think that maybe that's the reason why they have to keep it open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, maybe?
So economists are going to write a book about this. True. as how is CIG able to bring in the funds privately versus going out to all these different types of publishers. And blah blah blah. And that is a good point to me. I think we've had this conversation. That's a good point to make. Is this marketing a sound marketing plan that has allowed CIG to continue on the way it is? And that's arguably a point to make. But once again, just like I said earlier, I don't know what their reasonings are. I would not doubt that's a part of it because I'm quite sure they got the analytics teams going on and doing everything they need to do to see what the numbers are and how they can go ahead and impress this upon us and all this good stuff. So I would not doubt it. But
I agree with you. It's a catch-22 on it. I really agree with you in that area. I really think the same thing. Jade, I'm gonna go to you. Your thoughts about communication. Give it a rating, and what do you think if there's something you think could be better, what would it be?
I'm going to give them an 8.5.
Okay.
And the reason being is that for the most part, I tend to agree with Kelosal. I wouldn't say that they share too much, but what I would say is that some of the things that they share, by now they should know what the community reaction's going to be, and they might want to go about it differently. And then there are other cases where there's something that you and I and most of the community could predict that they were, kind of like stepping in a hornet's nest by doing it or saying it, right? And then they still do it. And then they backtrack afterwards. So I can't give them a 10.
Right.
Because of that, because 10 is a perfect score, right? But I would say by and large, they are pretty good. They've gotten better since when I first started following the project in 2016.
Yeah, it has gotten better. I will agree. If you've been around for a long time to see the arc of how things have gone with communication, it's an interesting ride. It's definitely an interesting ride. Kalrati, on you. Score, and what would you fix if there's anything?
Yeah, I would give them a 7. So in terms, the reason why I'm giving them a 7 is mainly because of two things, or rather one thing and two. So you know, sometimes when persons say that, okay, they've done the best that they can do, but it's still not ideal. So that's my perspective on things, mainly because of how heavily prevalent their research is when it comes to these things. When it comes to replication, right? I would have expected their communication to be, a lot better, because that would mean not as much research and development, but more replication in terms of, okay, they have a solid foundation of what it is that they want to implement into the game. They have all the tools fleshed out, and they can actually replicate and deliver. But practically speaking, given how we were still expecting the second version of the server meshing summit to take place in the ISC and those things, we didn't get it. We now know why. I don't think they can do any better. But at the same time, it's still a 7 because it's still agile. And I keep saying sometimes very quietly in my corner that CIG has put themselves between a rock and a hard place, because you don't have research and have an open, whatever it is that you want to call it, in the same boat.
Open development.
Yeah, I mean, because as someone who's doing his PhD, and I mean, I make my decisions are changing, left and right, sometimes many times different week. And I can't imagine a gaming company that isn't necessarily doing replication yet when it comes to having everything fleshed out. And they're making these decisions and they're still trying to communicate. So I think that they're doing as best as they can. But at the same time, given the prevalence of their research still in the game, they can't do any better, I think, without breaking certain promises and saying, okay, we're going to do this. Because look at how long it took us, not to the negative criticism toward them, but look at how long it took us to get some positive feedback, or get some feedback after the server meshing summit with regards to the split between the replication layer and the game server. Mainly because, I mean, if they imagine them communicating with us, okay, what progress was going to be, I'm going to assume, I could be wrong, but the amount of back and forth that they probably did between that point and now, I don't think many persons would have appreciated the kind of communication that we would have gotten, because that would have been very back and forth. So I think my 7, I would say it's still equal to Colosal's above 10, but I'm just, kind of making it a bit more practical, at least in my perspective, that I don't think, given their position right now, I don't think they can do as best as we would like, as I would love them to be, communication wise.
Yeah, Dirk, I don't think that he's saying it from that perspective. I think what he's saying is the volatility of development. And, the question is, what do you put out to the community? Especially when we're still trying to figure it out ourselves. And it's interesting what you say, Kalrati, because I'm one of those people that says, in order to go through this process, you have to have some real strong fortitude. This is not, I'm talking about as a consumer, as a gamer, as an interested person who's trying to learn about development. You have to be open to a lot of things, and balancing the consumer side of me, which says, I've paid some money, I have an expectation, I have a desire to play this game, has to be also tempered by the other side of entering into the world of development, which I personally don't know that much about. I know a little bit about it, right? But at the level of what they're trying to do, that's the murky side of it. The part that I know about is my consumer side. You know what I mean? My gamer side. But that other side that exists, the conversations, the backing and forthing, the changing of the whiteboard, the timelines changing, staffing, that's not the part that's my familiar area. And to introduce that hazy area in, for me, if I'm not open to that, I could almost look at it and say, well, they don't know what they're doing over there. When that's actually,
it turns to that sometimes.
When that's actually the way it works. That's actually the way it works. We may not like it, but if you're doing R&D and you think and Chris says, well, this is what I want to see you. I said this example a little while back in GoMab. I want to get to you because you're in the industry. On one of the making of one of the Star Wars films, I think it was Phantom Menace, George Lucas walks in with this big storyboard. and some of you have seen this. He's got this big storyboard with all the scenes, and he's got all his tech people and everybody's around him, and he's going through each scene. He's got a red marker and a green marker, and he says, "This part is green screen. This part is physical, a set." And he goes through that through the whole thing, and everybody's sitting there looking and going, "Yeah, okay." And he goes through it, and he says, "Okay," and he walks out. And you know what the people said? How the hell are we going to do that? They said that they didn't even have the tech. They weren't even in that play. All they knew was that this is what I want to see. Lucas says, "I know you guys can figure it out." And in some ways, I think Star Citizen's that same thing. I think when some of that stuff comes out, them jokers probably look at Chris Roberts and say, "You got to be kidding." And they have to figure out how to make and build some of the things that he sees as a visionary, just like George Lucas did. And eventually, it took a while, but they developed it. Were you going to say something, Angry PC?
Yeah, you're never going to evolve technology and push the limits of what developers, video games, and systems can do if you don't get and stay out of everyone's comfort zones. The moment you step into the unknown and you start answering the questions that nobody knows the answer to is the moment you start to do something truly cutting edge. You talk about research and development. I make challenge coins. I'm doing some for CitizenCon. This is about $100 worth of R&D mistakes.
Wow.
You're not going to make an omelet without breaking some eggs first.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I was going to make a reference to like 2013 CitizenCon. Griffin and I had gone back and watched a few of those back in our first year of Soul Citizen. And I remember watching some of the people and not necessarily the audience, but sometimes the camera would pan to a developer, and I would just see them with their mouth open because Chris Roberts is talking about some of the stuff that they have planned.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, the developers are going, stop. Stop it.
It's like how are you supposed to do that exactly, Chris Roberts? Yeah, so just like that George Lucas video you're talking about. But yeah.
Go ahead and give us your thoughts on this. Where would you give them on communications up to rating up to 10, and then what do you think could be fixed or better?
5.
Okay.
Volume of information is great, right? It's been better, right? When they had more shows that went deeper into the tech, like Bug Smashers and Reverse Diverse and things like that, you got a little bit deeper, and so a lot of the people that didn't really understand game development got a peek behind the curtain, and so they were able to kind of understand the challenges that CIG has been facing, and so you had a lot less of the. I mean, you had the trolls, right? You had the scam citizen people, right? But you had a lot less of the noise. But now that it's like the community has grown, but the communication has
changed.
Has become more efficient, right? They've got 2 shows, they've got their newsletters, the progress tracker, and so on and so forth. Why I cut them down so much is that I don't give them a pass on the things that my fellow panel mates have said, right? They've been doing this long enough to know. Like, I'm sorry, there should be a freaking taser. Somebody on the side of Chris Roberts with a freaking taser, and when it looks like he's about to say something that is related to a date, just take his ass out, right? Knock his ass out, drag him off the freaking stage, and give him smelling salts backstage, right? Don't let him say anything about a date, because we all know, like the people that know about development know that it's not linear, and I can say, yeah, it should be done by next week, and that's really March when reality kicks in. So I mean, I'm not giving them a pass on that. And two, like the way they've done some things, like the way, I understand what they did with the progress tracker, but the way they did it was so ham-fisted. It was just like, oh my God, have you guys never dealt with actual people, you nerds? Like, what are you doing?
No, we haven't.
Right. So they if you've ever seen the meme, right? And I've sent this. It's funny. I sent this to a customer the other day, where the guy's riding on the bicycle, and then he takes the stick and sticks it in the front in the spokes in front, and bike falls over. And he's grabbing his knee like ow, and he blames something else. That's CIG at every turn. Like, you didn't have to do that. That is a self-inflicted. You laid the landmine and then did jumping jacks on it. It made no sense. Me personally, what I would like for them to do is focus more on N+1, like what's coming next, right? And I know they do that a lot, but I guess they feel like the community needs to see what's coming around the horizon too. And so they spend a lot of time getting folks spun up on that. Like, it doesn't feel good when I think about the 600i rework right now. I'm not excited about it. It makes me angry when I think about it, that you've put it out there. You've told me you're working on it, and that's what you're gonna do. And you've shown me pictures, and then the next one they're like, "Oh, it's not on the schedule. We don't know when to get to it. We'll figure it out." It's about the cuss on the screen. How pissed off that it makes me, right? You're like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, don't tell me about it until you're going to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Can I stop you for a second? Because no, you're on point. Let me stop you for a second, because I think, and I don't know if this is because of format. It's so hard to determine why they made that shift. Because you're right, GoMob. There was a time when if they had been doing that 600i rework, we wouldn't have just seen it that once and it disappeared. They would have literally, within that next quarter or whatever, we would have got an update. There would have been a progressive viewing of us seeing the process of that happening. And I agree with you. That used to happen back in the day when they had what was it called? Ship shape fastcart. They would do ship shape.
Right.
They would come up and they do that. Yep. But then they stopped doing that. And I agree. They do introduce things, and then they just kind of, and then it is painful when they pump us up for it, and then, like you said, it falls off the tracker completely. It's gone, which says nobody's, and they'll tell you what we said, stop working on it. Now, I understood there was a big thing when all this stuff got moved over for emphasis of Squadron 42. Maybe when Squadron's in place, maybe we'll get a little breather where everything kind of goes back to normal of dealing with the persistent universe until episode 2 of Squadron comes up. Hopefully by then the company is built out more with more employees.
600i rework was announced post refocus on Squadron 42.
Oh no, I agree.
That was announced.
I agree.
After that.
I agree. No, I agree. Right? That's why I said you're right.
They've come with an update where they've shown some fantastic, concept art,
right?
And then I think a couple months later we had was it not Inside Star Citizen, but Star SEL, where they had the vehicle team on there, and he was like, so what's up with the 600i? He's like, it's just not on the schedule. We're working to get it back on there. We don't know when it's going to be. Yeah. And that to me was like table flipping ridiculous, right? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? You got all this other stuff in backlog. Why even bring that up?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going to do that, and then just.
Well, I think it was one of the questions, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From the viewers.
Yeah.
I agree that don't bring it, because you and I, like, development being non-linear is, they may be working on that. It may be a priority at the moment, but the moment a bigger bug or a bigger problem comes along, it's going to get pushed aside. And if you brought it up that XYZ we're looking to have completed soon, and then something bigger comes along and pushes it back, well, everybody's sitting here going, well, you told me this was going to be done
so
soon.
Let me ask you guys this then. Is this the demon in the room here? Is this the gremlin that haunts us? We have to give the backers something, and I'm not trying to say this in a mean way. Revenue has to flow. And if concept art of the 600i is what will generate revenue or re-interest, how do you, and I understand what you're saying, Goma, believe me, I do. I agree. I like what you're saying. But my question becomes, and maybe we'll step into this next question after fastcart comes in, because marketing becomes a part of what you're talking about too, Gomob. So, how do we keep the interest there? How do we keep the revenue coming so that we can keep the company coming? Because Squadron 42 ain't coming out right now, and we know that's where a lot of revenue is going to come in. We've got to keep something going to keep the lights on in the studio, in the homes of our people who are working. And at the same time, is that the negative? Is that what comes with the turf? I'm not saying it's good, it's ethical. I'm not going down that path right now, but I'm saying, how do we keep the interest, the fires going. Because I get what you guys are saying about the linear aspect. I get it.
As you know, Griff, I work for a small software company out of Redmond, and
Yeah.
and we have a roadmap.
Right.
Sound familiar? Right.
Right.
And our roadmap consists of enhancements, features, what's coming next. Right. Now there may be, hey, Satya or whoever, our CEO may talk about some of the things that he hopes to do in the future, but the focus of everything is what's coming next.
Okay.
Not the focus isn't here's pictures of some stuff we may do in 3 years.
But is that next enough to keep gamers interested? There's a difference when you have industry people coming into your space who hear
There's
that.
There's a balance that has to be struck here.
Okay.
That I feel like they haven't they out of all these years they
haven't found it. They haven't found the balance.
They haven't found that balance.
Okay, I buy
where they're so focused on pipe dream stuff far down where like they're saying stuff where they're going off like George Lucas, like let's figure out how to do it after we get off the stage. Where all these people you just told are like, oh, that's coming. Oh, this they wouldn't have told us if they haven't already figured it out and got it mostly done.
It's tempering expectations.
Right. That's why I give them a 5 on their communication, because their communication leaves them open to the people saying you're misleading us, or you're not telling us the truth, or you're doing this. We understand development, and while I understand all this stuff is 100% truthful coming out of their mouths based upon what they're trying to do, but you got to know your audience. You got to know who you're talking to, and you got to recognize that, and you got to tailor your communication. Otherwise, you're going to fail at it. So
I mean, well, you can start by putting out the ships that you said you're going to put out earlier. I mean, you can start by doing that and then implementing gameplay for that piece. Sometimes I said you got to throw yourself out the window instead of just watching from the other side of the window.
Well,
and to finish my point, Angry, and then I'm quite sure you got something good on this one. It's just the fact that, I mean, that what I try to go is I'm a huge lore person. Love lore. I think gameplay is important, but you also have to have lore. And I understand the mechanics are not there. I understand they got different, companies that are trying to combine them, blah, 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 blah. I get all that. But if you put out those ships and you still got other ships right now that we're saying that are out right now that still doesn't have all the functionalities, or we got ships that are saying that they're gold standard, yet you don't have all the MFDs up in there and all this good stuff, right? But then you could develop and continue to develop the lore behind those ships and add pieces to where you're creating another generational ship, right? I mean, a good example would be the Constellation, right? Constellation is what, a Mach 4 that we're at with the Constellation. So I'm always about the lore. You can go ahead and you don't have to stop at where you are with the lore right now. You can go ahead and as you're adding ships and as you're bringing in ships that you've already promised people, and then trying to go ahead and tweak that piece, you can go ahead and continue to develop the lore on that one. We are at with a new imperator, right? And we voted for that piece, right? And we're at year 3 of Addison's rule. So with that being out of a 10-year cycle, so that piece continues to grow. So can the manufacturing of ships. I'm sorry, Angry, you was wanted to say something about it.
Well, I'm gonna add on to that. So we have how many hundreds of years of lore that we could build backlogs on to keep people's brain thoroughly enthralled in the story that creates Star Citizen. But from the development side of it, if you put a ship in game and the game's there and the ship's functions are what in the development world would be feature complete, they need to be polished, you don't touch that ship again until it's ready to go to the polish pass, which is at the end of the development cycle before you take it to beta or final. But we don't need to go back over and redo work on something when everything for that, like for example, the 600i Explorer, the damn Explorer game loop is not even fully integrated into the game. Why are we doing polish passes on a ship that doesn't have a full game loop even in yet?
Because it needs it.
Whether it needs it or not is two different stories. We know it needs it and it will happen,
right?
But is it a priority right now?
In real time.
You know, can we keep doing what needs to be done without having to waste labor on that process at the moment?
Well, to Colosal's point, because the Connie is in its third or fourth, and it's still not where it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's like the fourth version of it. And even all they've done, I mean, don't get me wrong, they've done some tech things to make it better. I remember one of the things was creating the amount of resources it used to make it got reduced dramatically. But as far as things that has anything what has changed on that ship that works? And the only thing I can think of, and you all correct me if I'm wrong, that works on the Connie that didn't work in the Mark II or the Mark III is the snub ship. That's the only thing I think that has changed in that ship. The guns always worked in it. The turrets always worked in it. The elevators always worked in it. But none of the other aspects to that ship worked before except for that. And that's 4 versions of that one ship. So I get what you're saying. Being able to go back, and don't get me wrong, I'm glad we don't fly that ugly Mark II. I don't think I'd be that thrilled about it. But it is a conundrum. Okay, we got to move on past this, guys, because we're on this one subject and we are almost in our first hour.
Just don't buy Origin.
Right.
Shut up. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. Origin is like a weekend in Vegas.
I agree.
Don't get started. Don't get me started. Okay, let's move on.
Real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fastcart. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to forget you. You spoke and I didn't mean to. I forgot I didn't ask you the question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was gonna give them a 7 for communication. Basically, it's not. I don't want to say small stuff, but it's. I know they're human, and you know you don't want to forget that people who are behind these things are definitely are human. But the CitizenCon ticket stuff for in this week happened, and they had to give out double email because the ticket that came that was emailed to us had the wrong date on it. And they have how many people on a team working on? Now, I know they're probably stressed and just stuff slipped by the crack. But I mean, come on, they're preparing for this for how long? And they had the October 28th instead of the 21st and 22nd, and they were planning for this for I don't know quite a while. So I'm surprised that something like that wasn't caught. And that reminds me of the time when the Spirit brochure came out, and it had incorrect stats on that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, I know the human mistakes can happen, but it seems to happen not more often than I thought it would, in my opinion.
Yeah. My rating will be, thank you, Fastcart. My rating's gonna probably be 6 to a 6.5, maybe a 7. And I think GoMob kind of touched on what my reasons were a little bit, and it's the fact of the arch. In the early days, communication was very rough. The company was being built. It was very kind of grassroots. We all sat around the table with Ben Lesnick and that crew and laughed and learned what we can learn. But as the company has moved from that grassroots company to a full AAA corporate engine, there are some communication mistakes that I feel should not be happening still. I do think there should have been some evolution. I don't have a problem with the transparency aspect. I'm one of those people that when they projected that whole year on the roadmap, it did not bother me if something changed. It didn't. If I saw the Taurus on there and it disappeared, I was like, okay, well, something didn't bother other people. They're ready to jump out the window because it didn't happen. It didn't bother me. Reducing it down evidently did what it was supposed to do, because you don't hear nobody talking about it anymore, which takes us to what GoMob was saying about where we are now +1. That's pretty much where they've brought the roadmap to. But I do have issues with, you mentioned the faux pas, Fastcart, with the tickets. Why did the tickets go out on the 28th at 12 o'clock? I mean, you know, who didn't see that the ticket dates were wrong?
That's what I'm saying.
In fact, the tickets even only had the 21st. It didn't even have the 22nd on it. I just didn't understand.
I can forget
that whole thing. No, I can't, because it's a 2-day event. And if you send it to people, then people think it's only a one-day event. If they look at the ticket, they say, "Where's my other ticket at?" It should have had 2 dates on it. So anyway, where those
Wasn't it originally billed as a one-day event?
Not for this year. They never said.
Yeah.
But we know it's a 2-day event. But the ticket only has October 21st on it, and it's like, well.
And don't forget the after party ticket had the LA Convention Center. It doesn't have the LA studio.
It didn't have the studio, right? So there's a whole lot of stuff there. But let's move into marketing because this kind of somewhat connects into it.
But before we do that, Griffin, Dr. Murray is in.
Oh, Dr. Murray's here. Okay, he's ready to bring it. So I'm
gonna drop out so make room for him.
Okay, all right, fastcart. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. Have fun
tonight.
Way to fastcart.
You can, man.
Thank you for that heads
Bottle of rum lives another day.
Yes. Is Dr. Murray in the Discord, guys? Did we bring him down?
Yes,
I am here.
He's here. Okay, cool. Let's get his video up and we can introduce him and we'll get ready to go to this next question of the day. Everybody, welcome Dr. Murray from the Yacht Club. He is here. Woohoo. Good to see you, Doc, as always. He's got that warm luminescent lighting behind him tonight. All right.
Well, look fuzzy.
Yeah, you're a little, actually it's just a little light. You don't have as much light as you normally do. That's all. But we can see you good. Good to see you. How are you, buddy?
I'm surviving.
Okay, you're here. Okay, but you're here. You're above ground.
Yeah,
you're above
here.
ground. There
I'm
we
here.
go.
Yeah.
Dr. Murray, tell everybody where they can see you at. What is it you do in the community?
So I'm a founding member of Yacht Club, but I'm currently on a little bit of a sabbatical from that. Hoping to come back soon. You can find me streaming random games on Mondays and Tuesdays at Gaming on Twitch. I'm still contemplating starting up my own Twitch stream here soon. Yeah, and I'm usually around the Yacht Club Discord. If you want to ask me a question, I'm an encyclopedia. Just tag me and I'll get to you eventually. And yeah, I mean,
and he is an encyclopedia, guys. He is an encyclopedia. All right, let's go ahead and move forward here with these next set of questions. Oops, I got them in the wrong spot. Hang on there. Don't want your name blocked. There we go. All right. There's Dr. Murray. Okay, so here's the question. Let's talk about marketing. Fastcart kind of touched on this and opened the door up a little bit. When he gave the example of when the Crusader Spirit came out, that the numbers were wrong in relation to cargo and some other stuff that wasn't together. He said, why didn't somebody catch that? CIG had to put out a little thing saying the numbers were wrong. We're going to correct it. That's just one aspect of marketing. What are some other areas? Doc Murray, I'm going to start with you first. If there was 1 to 10 on marketing, what rating would you give them? 10 being great and 1 being terrible. Let's do a 1 instead of a 0. And if there was something you thought that could be done better, what would that one thing be?
I don't know. So I have a little marketing experience, and just by looking at the success of the project, by that I mean the funds coming in on a yearly, day-to-day basis, shows us that marketing has either an easy job or they're doing a great job. It's hard to say because of all the hype around the project. But if we look at it from just a basic standpoint of funds in versus funds out due to marketing costs, it's completely successful. It's amazing. And that's because they've leveraged a lot of word of mouth referrals and stuff. And now they're actually kind of doing some actual marketing. We've seen ads on YouTube and Twitch where they've demonstrated with the 318, 319, 320 launch. And really, if I were to do anything with the marketing there to improve it, I would try to do some more tie-in things where there's physical merchandise that relates to in-game merchandise is what I would like to do. I've been saying it for a while, but I think like one thing that would be great is like you buy a physical shirt from the merch store, you should get a digital copy in game. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you go and buy your your RSI shirt. Well, now you have one in game as well, and you can rock it,
I love that
yeah.
idea.
So I mean, I would put them around like a 7.
Around 7? Okay. We'll buy that for $1. Thank you. Angry PC Tech, marketing. What would be your rating? And if you saw something that they could do better, what would it be?
Um, probably. I mean, the marketing, the games here, we're talking about it on stream, so obviously the marketing is working. So they're doing a good job there. Again, I kind of want to agree with Dr. Murray. I would like to see more physical digital item tie-ins, some better merch, some things to get people excited about the products that they're seeing in game and the items that they're spending real money on in game, just to generate extra revenue, because that digital shirt doesn't cost them nothing to add to your inventory, but you spent money on it, so why not anyway? Or if you buy, like, you go in to buy a shirt in the store, you have the option of doing an add-on to order that shirt in real life, the ones that are doable.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah.
I make challenge coins, so I'm going to pin on that the ship showdown challenge coins. I'm working on designing showdown challenge coins for this year's winners. So those are things that I would love to see either them make themselves or allow third parties to make licensing products easier to keep the hype built up around the game.
Yeah, I agree. We've talked about this on the show before. If they did manufacturer's shirts, I'd buy one in a minute. No question about it.
Oh, yeah.
In real life, I'd buy one in no minute, in a drop of a hat. Kelosal, what about you? Marketing, what would be your score, and what do you think could be better, if anything?
Yeah, so I'm not a marketing expert, but I mean, I would assume, and just based off of what Sandy was saying earlier, she was talking about how they didn't have that much money for marketing. She kept pushing that and pushing that and pushing that, and yet they still did fairly well. And then all of a sudden, I believe a couple years ago, the turn happened. They got some. They restructured the board and blah blah blah, and then some more money came in. And as soon as that came in, I think we had a conversation. We had a bar citizen around that time period. We saw a letter from Chris Roberts, and we saw a turning point. We saw a major turning point at that point in time, and things started taking off from there. So I think honestly, and like I said, I really do believe that that CIG will be studied. Yeah. I really believe that they'll be studied in terms of how they were able to continue on funding with the market. I think the marketing team, honestly, is underestimated. I think they deserve around an 8 because of the fact that they've been so successful and crowdfunded by us. So there you go.
Okay, appreciate that.
And of course, the other question, the answer to your question, will be directed towards these gentlemen because they pretty much answered it.
Yeah. What's your score that you're going to give them?
8.
8. Okay. 8. Or 8. Okay. Jade, on you.
Sure. So I will also give them an 8. And here's why. Like, for the most part, it's hard to fault them with marketing. I mean, we've passed 600 million and what's been raised to date. There are some things that I would like to see, and this is sort of the reverse of in-game items for physical items. Like, I would love to see those mugs, the Finley the Stormwall and Star Kit and then Big Benny's mug, be actual physical mugs, for select things that are in the game. That really makes sense, and it would be really cool to have in the store. So yeah, give us more stuff to buy that is cool, right? I don't need socks, but I do need that Star Kitten mug. So
I need that Stormwall mug. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and the Stormwall mug, exactly. And if they make a Pico mug, I'd buy that one.
You buy that too. Okay.
Yeah. I don't even drink coffee.
Partnership with Yeti. Let's go. Partnership with Yeti.
Yeah.
Let's get a
oh my God. GoMap. Put the boreal stalker on a Yeti, so you have a space Yeti on a Yeti.
Yeah, GoMab, your audio's going in and out again.
I was going to.
Oh, there it is.
Clipping. Sorry.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But beyond that, am I okay?
Yeah, you're good, Jade.
No, okay. I was just gonna tell Gomab his voice is just too sexy for the stream, but
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But beyond that, on a more of a, I guess, down note. I don't want to call it down note, but I would say that they would do well to add a small print disclaimer to their videos, especially the ones promoting the state of the game, or the game that people then interpret the state of the game. Like when they say playable now 318 or 319 or whatever,
Yeah.
this is what its intended gameplay. Put it in small print. When it show a ship commercial, say this is possible future gameplay, but this does not imply this will be future gameplay. Something really simple. The legal department, host, whatever, they can all get on that. But do that so that you don't get this incoming constantly from the community saying it's deceptive advertising, right?
Right.
It's not deceptive if you got a disclaimer.
And to your
That's
point,
all.
to your point, Jade, I think it's a great point. Now they did do this the one time I saw them do it, and I liked what they did. Some people still weren't satisfied, but at least they did do it. I think it, and I hate to say it, it was 318, which was like the funkiest patch for them to decide, because this is when they decided to drop this stuff on YouTube, and all of us were like, "You got to be kidding!" But this is what they did do. At the end of the video, it said "Playable now." Above it, it said "Early access," and below it, it said "Alpha" or "Pre-alpha." It said something like that.
But you know what, Griff?
And my point was, it was like one was in 20 point, size, and the other two were like 16 point. You know what I mean? But at least they did say it. That one time. That was the one time that I saw them do that. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say, I remember seeing the community outrage at the 3.18 playable now, and my eyes rolled, right? Like, I rolled my eyes because there was a 3.17 playable now. There was a 3.16. You can go back many patches, right? Where there are these playable nows, and they're just scheduled on the patch release. They're not something where, you got marketing in there. And maybe this is something maybe that they want to do, is maybe get marketing closer to, the teams that are working on the patches
and the state of the game I have no problem with them saying playable now on 318 when it's been in freaking live for maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks. You know what I mean? After we have worked it out, but they did that of all the patches. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I remember when 318 was in PTU, it was running. But when it went live, that sucker crashed. And they put those YouTube videos, and I don't know if it was because they had already put it in place or what, but that was the worst. That should have happened after we were playing it live. It was good. They'd gotten most of the kinks out, and then they put it out. So what? You don't have to. Now, maybe they're doing it to drive people to play the game. You know what I mean? So that they can literally find their analytics and get the bugs out. But boy, to me, that's not good. It's just not good. I don't know if we lose people or just frustrate people when that happens. I'm not really sure.
Can I interject here about that?
Yeah.
I would say that if we look at the current environment of game development, not just Star Citizen, but games in general, with early access constantly coming out, it's kind of like concurrency numbers are king. And so Star Citizen has got this clout, and it also has this cloud above it, where there's a good percentage of people who are like, well, it's a scam. They're making no progress. They're not doing anything. They're just taking money. Chris Roberts is in the Maldives, like all these nonsense things. Like when they push out a patch, they have to have their fanfare with the patch so they can say, hey, we're doing stuff, and people can see it and kind of counteract some of that. But I do agree with you that, like, they said in early 2022 that 318 was going to be rough when it went live. ETF, we told everybody we could see when it went open that it's going to be rough when it goes live. And I don't know. Like, I know that CIG knew it was going to be rough. All the devs told us that multiple times. We saw it happening, but they had to get their data out, and they had to get their concurrency numbers. So they had to put out their our patches live. And I think it would be best served for them to wait a couple of days, at least, or a week after they push something live, especially with a whole new technology layer like they did with 318. So, I mean, I hope it goes into the lessons learned category, and CIG is like, well, maybe we should wait a little bit more. And I think we see that as well with this new idea of the experimental branch, where they can get these things up and running, and they can get decent concurrency from people willing to deal with the bugs and still leave the live environment running decently well, so your average Joe players can go and play and not have to worry about it. I think they're taking steps to remedy the problems that they've had. It's a slow moving process, and like I said, concurrency numbers are king, so they got to get people in the game so they can prove that their value is valuable.
Well, I hope what you said is a lesson learned. I really do. Kalrati, let's jump to you. Give us a score on marketing and your thoughts if there's things that you think could be better.
Yeah, sure, Griff. So quickly to Colosal's point, there have been a good bit of studies out there already for Star Citizen. One, you can look up the Star Citizen phenomenon and the ultimate dream management, or something along those lines.
You got a link? You got a link you can drop in for it?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll drop it in after.
Okay, sure.
And yeah, so in terms of the marketing, I think all of us can agree that the marketing has become a bit more aggressive right now, or in the past few years or so, to kind of keep those numbers up, or rather increase them and such. One thing I would like to see though is, well, firstly, I would rate it approximately 8, because they definitely have been marketing the game a lot more efficiently compared to before, especially since we've seen those sales go up, etc. But I would say that if they can, I don't know if it's a limitation based on the award system. They've explained it, but when targeting the internal customers, and when I say internal customers, I mean those who have already pledged, etc., etc. I would really like to see them market the award system in terms of, okay, if we are doing any kind of dynamic events, or if we're doing anything like that, apart from badges, apart from the suits, those little things like the plushies and those things. I know lots of persons who really, really like them. And I don't mean the physical merchandise. I mean, if they can at least put more into the pool and make them, more available in terms of distribution with regards to these activities. So you do a dynamic event, you get these plushies a bit more constantly, because compared to some of the digital merchandise that we get, it's more so, okay, marketing, talking about a ship or talking about this. Why not also kind of boost the frequency of distributing these digital items, such as the plushies, the dolls, etc., a bit more frequently, or just as frequently, in terms of the subscriber end, and also on the free end, because I mean, these digital items, yes, they take time to create, but you could always, kind of indirectly boost the marketing by giving away some of these things a bit more for free as well, because some of the free distributions can also help in terms of decreasing the perspective of, what some persons think when you see the increased aggression in marketing. And I don't mean aggression.
You didn't like your picture of a handlebar? What are you saying, man?
Yeah. No, you know what? Not to be funny. Remember when they first introduced, was it Xenothreat? Which one was it where they gave us the armor? Remember, if you decided to go in and help during the dynamic event?
Xeno.
Remember?
Yeah.
I mean,
Xeno.
and I'm not saying they had to do that every time, maybe, but the fact that they did do that was an incentive for people to get into the game and test, and getting people to come in and stress the servers and do things like that. Those virtual items, I know sometimes people may not think they're a big deal, but for some people, they spend the whole time wanting to get the whole suit of armor. You know what I mean? That's what they want to do. What I don't like that CIG does is, remember in the early days when armor came out, you'd buy the helmet 1 month, and then the arms another month, and then the legs another month.
That was
horrible.
That was painful.
That was horrible.
You mean that 1 year and a half where we basically got 3 suits of armor for some year?
Exactly. We don't want that type of marketing, okay?
Yeah.
But they can do those things that do bring incentive for us to even come into PTU or in the PU to test stuff. Gomabb, I'm gonna jump to you now. Thanks, Kalrati. Give me your score and your if there's something you think could be better about marketing.
So if I'm gonna slam on communication, I gotta give them props on marketing, right? And I'm gonna give them a solid 8.75 on marketing. Just because, I mean, with all, as many times as they like step on the landmines, that definitely was not what the first thing I thought. But when they step on landmines, they're still able to generate
money,
cash, hand over foot
every month.
I'm trying. It's a family show. I know it's not late. I'm on that burden. You gotta excuse me.
Speak up to your mic. Speak up to your mic. Your mic's going in and out on us again. Sorry.
So yeah, I'm giving them an 8.75, right? Because I feel like they do a really good job of driving the hype train, and I kind of wish they wouldn't drive the hype train. I mean, I feel like it's CIG pushes the hype train, and it's on us in the community to kind of like be the brakes. You know what I'm saying? A little bit, because you see people like, ooh, yeah, you blame Star City. Like, hey, man, this might not be the project for you to support right now. I'll let you know when, because it's not for everybody right now. That's okay. You know, if you don't have the temperament to deal with like, ooh, this is fun and beautiful, 30K.
So you're basically saying this is like going up to a crackhead and saying, you know, you don't have to buy this crack from me, right? I mean, is that basically what you're saying? You know that you know you put it on the crackhead and say, yeah, you know, you don't have to pay for this. You know, I'm giving it away. I mean, is that what we're kind of saying the deal is? Or is the pressure that intense?
I've got at least 10 hardcore gamer friends that I am holding back.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? That I am holding back from this project because I know they do not possess the emotional maturity to deal with the state of development that this project is currently in. And so I am fighting against the marketing. And that means the marketing is really strong, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they see this and they were like, hey, isn't that the game you play? I was like, yeah, I play it all the damn time. No.
This ain't for you. This ain't for you.
It's not for you. Not yet, bro. I'll let you know. You gotta play Starfield. If you want to fly your spaceships, go play No Man's Sky. Hey, man, you know, this was really good at one point in time. RIP.
Gomabb say you don't want none of this. You don't want none of this.
This ain't it right now. You know what I'm saying? I think Call of Duty had some space shit in it. Stuff in it one time. Go do that. Go play
that. Did you curse on television, young man? Did you curse on television?
No, I'm laughing at the Call of Duty. That Call of Duty thing was nothing but a cinematic. He throwing them even at a cinematic. He said, "Go watch that." Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So that's a testament to the marketing, man. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, their cinematics team is on point. They're really good, and they have a way to even a salty veteran backer like myself will watch them and be like. And I realized, like, come on, dude, you ain't gonna see that for like another 7 years. You know?
Doesn't matter. It still looked good. I want one.
I joke.
Really exciting, right?
I joked around earlier, Gomabb. Yeah, I joked around earlier because when Grim was on and we were watching the Hull C commercial, and when it ended, I said, man, that almost makes me want to buy another one. You know what I mean? I mean, their marketing, like you said, is just stupidly good. Regardless of how people feel about it. And it does. There's a responsibility that CIG obviously has to the consumer, but the consumer also has their responsibility to do due diligence, check out the project, monitor their wallet. You know, really, I mean, literally throw that sucker in the safe if you have to, because it is very tempting.
It will work. I know the combination.
Well,
I know all my numbers. Shit.
I know something. Give your wallet to your wife, maybe. I don't know. But my point is
don't do that.
The marketing, the marketing dynamic of this is very powerful, and there are some things that literally, I'm talking from a physiological standpoint of what gets stimulated inside our brains as gamers. Also, our desire to really play a good game, and especially. Even those of us who've been in here for 7, 8, 9 years, and we know how the game, pardon the expression, we know how the game is played, we can still be very susceptible to that desire to finally see this thing in our hands and get the toys, really to get the toys.
Hey, Griff.
Address the community real quick, though.
Okay, before you go, Kelosal, do you want to go first? You want me to go Matt finish?
Yeah, I was wanting to give props to the marketing team, especially when everybody went to CitizenCon in 2018. That Big Benny's marketing scheme.
Oh my God!
Got him a lot of sales with that Big Benny's truck that had
Kelosal,
over there at CitizenCon, right?
a actual food truck came up, painted in the freaking Benny and they had Big Benny's noodles and everything, and then the line was all the way out of that sucker, man.
Sold out.
It was stupid. It was stupid. Go ahead, Gomabb. You want to speak to the community now? What's your words of wisdom?
All right, look, I gotta get closer. Hey, I'm talking to you. Okay. Commercials have been around forever. Well, you've seen all kind of crazy stuff out there that looks really good. Only you control your credit card, your bank account, and your spending. I don't want to hear it. Ain't nobody making you buy this. Nobody. This is you. You're making personal choices as an adult or a bad kid that is stealing their parents' credit card. This ain't on CIG. They have a job to do and they're doing it well. This is on you. I need you to look in the mirror and have a talk.
I don't want to adult today.
What do you need? What do Unique call them, Griff? Unique call them dumbasses.
Yeah, Unique's line was, "I don't know about you. You dumbasses was the ones that backed Star Citizen. I backed Squadron 42." That was his comment, you know. So, all right,
I was gonna say what Gomabb said, like 100%. And if you talk to Chris at like CitizenCon and you tell him how much you spent, he will call you stupid. Well, at least he told me I was. So like I remember in 2016, I went to CitizenCon in LA, and I'm like standing there waiting in line. I finally get to talk to Chris, and I just got my Idris, and it was my 42nd ship, and I was like, "Hey, I just hit 42 ships and got an Idris." And he's like, "Well, you're done. Don't buy anything else, dummy." And I was like, "Well,
that's
we'll see how that goes."
That's interesting.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah,
that is it.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, listen, we're just about almost 30 minutes out before wrapping up for tonight. We do have a ton of stuff here, but we're not going to hit all these, gang. I'm just going to kind of pick certain ones for you guys to cover. I just want to do a quick spot again for St. Jude Children's Hospital. We are at $5,420. That puts us $580 away from being able to cross the $6,000 line. That's pretty ambitious to do that by the top of the hour. But who knows? What we got right now is great, and we know you guys can add a little more to that. So let's look at one more video real quick, and I'll show this one here, and then after that, we're going to wrap it up for the rest of the show. So here we go.
Es una noticia que pues ningún papá espera.
I didn't know babies could have cancer. Basically, your worst nightmare come to life.
We thought we were losing our daughter, and then when we came to St. Jude, everything changed.
I know St. Jude is the reason that I'll have my son now and into the future. The goal is that these children live and that they can thrive for the rest of their lives, and I'm just thankful for that.
11 years that I've been in remission, and St. Jude was my hero, so I was like, let me be someone else's hero.
Es posible que un problema tan horrible como el cáncer infantil nos traiga a todos juntos. De hecho, ocurre esto cada día aquí en St. Jude.
I believe we should take our purpose, mission, like St. Jude, and we should help other people. And St. Jude has always been about helping other people.
I want to be a part of this. I want to be able to spread the word, to support as much as I can.
It warms your heart because you know you're helping somebody in need.
It really is inspiring to know that we have people that are out there fighting for us so that we can fight for these kids.
El regalo más grande que St. Jude me ha dado es poder ver crecer a mi hijo.
Let's cure childhood cancer.
Together.
Awesome sauce. We've already got an increase, $5,440. Let's see if we can get it across that 5,500 mark, y'all. Another $60 will be at 5,500. I know we could do that before the hour is out tonight. So I know we can make that happen. Thank you guys so much for the contribution. We really appreciate it. Sage, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Well, it was maybe somebody else other than Sage, because Sage, I think, gave already. Let's see if I do my refresh here. Was it Sage? Oh, Raylan. It was Raylan. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that. And Weiss, thank you. All right, let's jump back into this real quick, gang, because I got my panel ready to go. I'm going to jump down some, you all, and ask you about a very painful subject, the website. The website.
Uh-oh.
All right. So I'm going to start out with Doc Murray. Our time is kind of short here, so I know the website covers a lot of things. And after the website, I'm going to probably talk about maybe the game tech. We're going to go to game tech, and I want to leave time for this. Let's try to get through the website kind of quickly. So, Dr. Murray, website, give it a rating. And if there was something, just one thing that you felt really needs to be straightened out, what would it be?
Just one thing. Oh my goodness.
And you can't say the website.
I would say the website. No, I don't know. The website is the website, right? Like those of us who have been here for a while, we actually understand how to navigate and get around it. And we're like, yeah, no, it's not that bad. But we forget that the first 3 months we backed, we were constantly fighting it, trying to figure out how to do anything and working our way around. Yeah. So I think the website's design is really outdated. It doesn't have any of the stuff that we see in modern websites now. It seems very dated and very just simple and basic, and yet convoluted in the same. I would say probably like a 5 out of 10.
Ooh, 5 out of 10.
Generous.
Is okay. And
You're generous.
And is your critique that it needs to be updated? Is that basically it? Just overall.
Yeah, I think it needs to be brought at least into the 21st century standard, and the navigation system of it should be much better. There should be an easy site map that you can click on and find where you need to go. It should have a lot more integrations into the game. Like the ship matrix should talk directly to the game and pull all that data automatically, so it's not some unupdated known as the ship matrix of lies. Yeah, so I mean, there's tons of things that they could do to improve it. It's hard to say with just one.
All right, I'll buy that. All right, Angry PC Tech.
Yeah, I'd give it a solid 2.
Okay. A solid 2.
And that's still being generous. I mean, let's face it, the community hub needs to be integrated into the main site. These are all different aspects of the same site. The community hub needs to be brought into place. The Matrix of Lies needs to be updated and integrated into the game specs. Spectrum is supposed to be integrated into the game engine. All these things are all supposed to be tied together and talk to each other, but each one operates as its own independent system, and none of them are brought together to be a seamless design. The design aspect of it, because this is actually my wheelhouse, the design aspect of it pretty much needs to be thrown out the window and started all over from scratch, because it doesn't want to load in half the browsers, and Lord help you if you don't clear your cookies out once a week just to fix things.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
I had to stop using Firefox because of the damn site, man, because it's don't get me
Okay, Kelosal.
I haven't used Firefox in years. I mean, I agree with Angry. I mean, I'm not even an expert, and I found it difficult to first navigate when I first jumped on here. So I mean, I was jumping on other websites. I was jumping on, Dual Universe and Ashes of Creation and things like that, and they have a little bit more of a streamlined, and basic, but a little bit more of a streamlined website than what I see from Robert Space Industry. So a lot of work to do, and I hope to, maybe they can go ahead and show you guys at CitizenCon. The new website that just launches along with things like that.
That'd be a nice surprise for sure. Jade, going to you.
Yeah, so my primary browser, like GoMab, is also Firefox for various reasons, and I would give it. This is really difficult because I want to give it a higher score, but like I'll start with what I like. What I like is the community hub. I think that was really well done, and of course it's the most recent addition, right? What I don't like are the things that have already been mentioned here, things like the ship matrix not being linked to actual in-game data, things like no shared credentials. There's no reason in 2023 you should have to log into 3 different things: Spectrum, the website, and the community hub. That should be shared credentials. It's 2023, right?
The issue council.
Oh yeah, that would be another one, right? I totally forgot about that one. Like, even though I use it a lot, like I never have issues with that one. Though that's probably why. So I will have to give it a 4 because there's not the integration that it needs to have. And you know me, I'm super optimistic most of the time about everything CIG, but the website is something that I'm sure they are well aware of it too. It's not where they want it to be.
Okay. Kalrati.
Yeah, I've been juggling between like a 3 and a 5, only because every single time I use the website, I usually just go straight to either two things, Ask the Devs or Spectrum. But when it comes to the main front, like the main homepage itself, I can't put my foot on it, but I always feel like there's some kind of disconnection. I feel like there some elements don't, like the flow isn't there, and unfortunately, I mean, even though I've just started to learn how to build websites, and now I'm getting closer to understanding the flow of these things. I'm sure that there are a lot more experienced persons who know how to give feedback on these things. One of the things that I would like them to do is to at least, of course, this goes back to communication, is to at least give us some kind of, I wouldn't say roadmap, but some kind of explanation on on like the elements that they plan to address first, right? Because as we've heard in this panel, and of course from chat as well, there are different things that irk different people, like that irk many different people. But of course, the only thing to that is that we know that Turbulent is also working on the online services, server meshing, and those things. So that's the other kicker, or the contradiction towards that, is that, okay, we may not get any kind of plans on what they intend to work on, because if they say that they plan on working, or if they give us those plans now, it may be too early. So it's just, once again, kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But hopefully we get some kind of explanation on how they intend to blend everything together. And yeah.
Okay. Gomabb.
I gotta agree with my man Angry Tech. It's got to be around a 2, and that's a culture thing. It really is, and it goes all the way back to what we talked about as communication. Today in 2023, your primary form of communication is when someone hears your name and then they put you in a search box and they pull up your website, and the website just isn't there. They could literally go pay $500 to somebody on Fiverr to go make it right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but they just don't. But as a business, they don't see the value. They don't see the business value in having a robust frontline communication strategy.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it boils down to. It's not a priority because the gaps are, and this is the understatement of all the things I've said today. The gaps are glaring.
Yeah.
They're evident to anyone that has ever touched a browser in the past 8 years. It's really bad. And I'm not even, like, I hung up my web development hat many years ago. I could do better right now.
That site was built when Netscape was still popular.
That's when I was making money building websites. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I was building Netscape, because Netscape had a website editor.
What about MySpace? Good Lord.
It was awesome. So it's
front page for the win.
Matt, I have a question for you. Do you think this is a rhetorical question. Do you think they start with a mobile first? Because to me, like, it's pretty bad on mobile, and like mobile first has been like how websites are developed since like forever now, right?
No, that is a PHP front end using Cascade style sheets to shrink everything down, and it does a horrible job.
Yep.
It is like
terrible job.
So,
I mean, if they were smart, let's just take a second. If they were smart, the first thing I would do as CIG is I would make a mobile app.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I would make a mobile app. That'd be like my mobile hanger. Second thing I would do, oh my God, talking about their hanger. Trash. The fact that the CCU game,
Yeah.
a freaking extension in your browser, a site that allows you to go in and plot out the CCU game, has a better interface for actually seeing your hanger. Somebody in their spare time created a better interface to view your inventory in Star Citizen than the actual company, right?
I guarantee you, if they developed an app like a fleet, like a hangar manager or fleet manager app, their sales would increase strictly off that app.
I mean,
Gomab. Your audio is, I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's
He's
ultra clear.
overmodulating.
Yeah, but no, but it wasn't that. It's not. I know how his voice normally sounds in mics. So I don't know if he's got a weird cable thing or something, but he's usually crystal clear, and he's been.
Is that better?
No, it's like it's fuzzy. It's
if
not,
you're using like a digital soundboard, you might want to restart it, like Banana.
Yeah, maybe
can
that's.
restart.
Yeah, maybe that's.
You use Isotope?
I'm using a beacon.
Oh,
okay.
How's your gain? It sounds like you're going
Yeah.
through a lot of gain.
Yeah,
because but sometimes he's perfect, then all of a sudden he gets distorted.
Yeah, that's when I get excited.
No, it's not that. You were talking.
That's because the juju has transferred from my mic to his.
Is it what it is?
That's exactly why.
Is that what it is?
Is that a little bit better? I'm not peeking as much now.
There
I'm
you
a
go.
little bit louder, but I'm not peeking.
See how you got clear? See how you cleared up?
Yeah.
Better,
See?
right?
There we go. Okay.
All right, I'm up to my meter now. I'm not peeking.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So let me go ahead. Wrap it. Go ahead. Go.
I'll wrap it up. Right. So yeah. Bottom line, I give them a 2, maybe a 1. They've got a lot of technical issues, technical shortcomings, authentication, like Jade mentioned. Dude, seriously, I could do this. The design, the layout, it's really it's too hard to find pertinent information. The fact that when I go to concierge, everything else is dark and concierge is like blindingly white. Show you, like, take 3 hire 3 web designers that actually know what they're doing,
and let them do their thing,
and just let them do their damn thing.
Yep.
I got a quick PSA on the website, and since we were talking, because authentication came in and it sparked a thing in my head. If you're using the email thing to email you a code every time you go to sign in, stop it. Stop it now. Install a 2-factor authentication tool.
2-factor all day.
2-factor authentication, not SMS text messaging. Download the Google Authenticator, put it on your phone, put it on every device you own, and use it for everything you do. SMS and email second-factor authentication is the quickest way to get your crap hacked and taken over, and then you're sitting there crying in a corner. Turn on 2-factor authentication on your phone. Use it that way. You can thank me later.
There you go. Good point. Good point. My rating for the website is going to be, I hate to say this, I was a 5 and a 2 or 3, and I think you guys have made me go to a 4 and a 2. The 4 is for me, but I'm only saying that because I've been there so long now that I navigate it and it doesn't bother me. But the 2 is for somebody who's never been to that site and they're trying to figure it out. I remember talking with somebody before and they were asking about why they were struggling. And a lot of people don't know that site was supposed to be, I think Jade or Kelosal mentioned about it, it was supposed to be integrated into the game. So when you go to the top and it says apps means absolutely nothing to anybody if they don't know about the freaking mobiGlas. If you don't know there's a mobiGlas, you don't know why it's called apps. So you're sitting there trying to figure out where's the menu. So until they get that integration together so that it makes some kind of sense, that's crazy. The other thing, the
mobile mobiGlas app would be amazing.
Wait. But you're going to my turf now. The mobile app idea. When they put out the RSI authenticator, I thought that's what they were doing, that they were starting to go down that path. Remember, they actually had an RSI authenticator when you went to go into your account. Then it disappeared. They went back to start using the Google authenticator. So the app thing, I don't know why they didn't follow that. Also, if you guys remember, My Weather Radar had put out, you're talking about third party, they had put out a thing that had all of the moons and stuff and the locations and all that. And I'm saying, okay, y'all got somebody else doing this. Why aren't you guys doing this app thing? Apps are really blowing up. I don't know why CIG is not tapped into that yet. But as far as design, go ahead, Doc.
I might be able to elucidate that a little bit. I had a conversation with Benoit about this probably a couple of years ago at this point. I was talking about Spectrum mostly because Spectrum doesn't work on cell phones. I mean, it kind of does, but for the first few years, like you could not erase anything. So you had to only say what you meant to say, and if you use swipe, you were going to be screwed. So it was one type at a time. So it's just the old tap, 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 tap everything out, and then even then you could sometimes click post and it would just delete everything post blank. So it got very aggravating with that. And so I talked to him about that, and he was saying that for an app, what CIG wants to do is have a more API integration where the app can talk to people in game as well as people on Spectrum and see all of those lovely things and pull that data from their databases and not be like cached on the web page and all of that. And what he was saying was that it's really uncommon to build any kind of APIs in pre-alpha because so much technology is probably going to change before you get there. So they're kicking it down the road until later, until all of their server infrastructure is working properly, and then they'll start trying to pull these things out to make an app or to give out an API for third parties to make apps and stuff. I know it's kind of a
let me say this.
half measurable. But...
Yeah, let me say this. I can understand that from that side of it, but I want to go back to something that Gomabb said earlier. They have to find the happy medium between that and the way the world is running and the way the world's operating. You can't have this this ancient way of how we're accessing that website. Even the site isn't aesthetically pleasing, and it is definitely not intuitive. So the app thing, I can understand that. I'm just saying, mobile apps are a big thing, and I don't know what it is they can come up with that later on they can blow it up further. Maybe they could just go with what they know works, but that website, it just needs some love. It needs some real love because it's just not there. Okay, I got to move on.
Wait,
Make it quick. Make it quick.
Yeah, I'm going to make it real quick. If you downloaded 3.21 PTU, you may have noticed that the terms of service have changed.
Oh, yeah.
If you're somebody who created a third-party app, this goes back to communication. Definitely read that, because there are definite ramifications about what you can legally use from CIG's game files, and CIG should communicate that.
Folks know.
I don't know, a little bit better than just a TOS that a lot of people just
ignore.
right past.
Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, because the new TS is lengthy and it has a lot of stuff in there, so you guys need to check it out.
You're expecting gamers to read again.
Yeah, there we go. There we
go.
Right?
I always do.
Okay, we got to do a rapid one on this, gang, and I'm sorry because we got to wrap it up right at the top of the hour because we've been here for 12 hours and I would go longer otherwise. But I want to be fair to the guests here and get their opinions and thoughts. Okay, now this is going to be a tough one. This is worse than the one I asked them about communication. Game tech. And I know there's a plethora of stuff that we could pick from, but what is the game tech area when it comes to fixing Star Citizen? And I'm going to close it out, but Doc Murray, whether this is personal or whether it's what you hear the community boast about the most, what is the one thing? There's no rating on this. It is, what game tech wise do you think really needs to be fixed to make the game more pleasurable, whatever that may be?
So many.
I know.
I think really, and this comes from my background of way too much FPS games. The FPS has gotten better, but the movement is still clunky. The weapon handling is still subpar. The hit reg is still the fact that in any of the start game modes you can spawn and your gun won't shoot until you switch off of it and switch back to it. That's quite annoying. Like I said, the peeker's advantage is beyond absurd when you play in the FPS mode. Like, you can come around the corner and kill 2 people before they realize you're there. So I think really, and it's a real core part of the game, is the FPS style and movement. And I know some of it has to do with the fully physicalized rig and the eyeballs being in the head, and all of those things make things feel, just slightly different from what we're used to in FPS games, where you're basically looking at your nipples and your gun is going where you're seeing. So yeah, I mean, I think really for me that would be it, because when I try to play
you want
Star
an
Marine,
FPS overhaul? Is that what you're saying? You really want it, or does this need to be tightened up more? Which one?
yeah, the fluidity needs to be better. Movement feels clunky. Movement feels like you're kind of stuck in resin or glue or something, and it's just kind of. And we need a crouch jump. We always need a crouch jump. And mantling is getting better. We could use more mantling surfaces and areas to mantle, and all these things that are slowly coming. And I know all the work they did with Fire Sprite really helps. Like just the differences between pre-Fire Sprite and post-Fire Sprite and the FPS movement and handling and everything is incredibly increased and much better. But I think the whole system needs to be slightly redone, and a lot of it comes from CryEngine. CryEngine's kind of clunky about that, anyways, because it's not really made for multiplayer. So
okay, fair enough. All right, Angry PC Tech, what's your one thing that you think definitely needs to be fixed when it comes to the game?
I think someone had a comment up there. Go ahead. I picked the exact one I want to go on. I'll let my guy up there at the top say what he was wanting to say.
Oh, you sure?
I'm going to be really quick. This goes back to, if you've ever heard me talk, this goes back to me saying CIG needs to reinvent the freaking wheel at every turn. The things that Dr. Murray just said are things all part of gaming for decades now, right? That they are struggling with doing, but they feel like they gotta do new, right? You don't. Just do what's been done and do it as good. You don't even have to do it better at this point. Just do it, right? Just do what's been done.
Then we wouldn't have murderous elevators.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Fair enough.
How about elevators that turn when your ship is not leveled?
Well, hang on. Is that yours, Kelosal, or you just adding some throws?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's okay. I just want to know if that was yours. That's all. Angry PC, you're going to say something?
Yeah, so if I was going to pick one thing, the words, dang words are not coming together right now. There's so many things flying around in there. It would be the one thing status saving. So in the event of a game crash, caring exactly where you are at and this could easily be done client side with a hashed log file, where whatever you were doing, wherever you were at your last known location, that's stored on a log file on the local client. The moment you reconnect, it resends that data back to the new server you're connected to. That and mobiGlas. Those two things are my biggest.
The bane.
The amount of times I have, it's only happened once on stream, but the amount of times I've almost put my fist through a monitor because of some dumb glitch that is something that shouldn't exist in 2023 happening. Those are my two main pain points, is my last known location information carrying me from one server to the next. That's a quick and easy dynamic fix using a hashed log that's stored locally, that the moment you modify it or even open it, you change the hash and it's invalidated, you're instantly set back to area 18 or whatever your home base is. And then mobiGlas, for the love of God, fix the star map so I can not have to troubleshoot my own friggin' jump drive every time I need to go to Crusader. I mean, really.
Okay.
That's it. That's my 2 points.
Those are good. All right. Kelosal, what's your one thing that they can do?
Do I have to have one?
Yes, we only have 7 minutes. I know we all got a freaking laundry list. I know. I know.
Well, I know you guys did so well with the 12-hour stream, and I only came in for about 2.5 hours of it, but I really got 3, so I'm going to give you one of them.
All right, you can give me 2. Give me 2 if you can make them quick. 2 if you can make them quick.
All right, so just to jump on what Dr. Murray said with the tech there, I wanted to add in like grabbing, because we should be able to grab on wings and rails and try to lift ourselves up and things like that, and you're not able to do that all the time. There's certain specs that's labeled in yellow that you can do that with. That's a particular problem for me, especially when you're trying to get on the ship and you can't get like a gladius or what have you. You trying to get on the wings of a gladius, you can't do it, so you have to get on some type of a non-gravity space to go ahead and just jump over the wings of a gladius just to get on top of the gladius. So if you can put that, it'd be great. The other thing that I wanted them to do was put an integration of spreadsheets. There has to be some type of calculation system that I can see with knickknacks or MoTrader, or even things to go ahead and go with the trading system that we see over there at Lorville, at the CBD, and all the stuff like that. If they can go ahead and integrate spreadsheets type there, something to go ahead and give us some type of transaction, it'd be fantastic.
Okay. All right. I'll buy that for $1. All right, Jade, it's on you. Since I gave Kelosal 2, I'll give him 2 if you can make them quick.
All right.
All right. So I have the one thing that I think would vastly improve gameplay, and I have the one thing that I would like. The one thing I think would vastly improve gameplay would be, especially for traders and miners, would be an app in your mobiGlas where you can see how much something is being sold for or bought for at a location. Right, like that is one thing that I've noticed. People who've come from certain other space games, when they come over to Star Citizen, they ask about why doesn't that exist, right? Like that is a no-brainer. It should by now. We've had trading in the game for years, right? And the other thing is more like it's I don't know, you could almost say it's cosmetic, but it comes down to the whole thing of this is supposed to be a physicalized world. We're talking about having physicalized cargo. Yet that ketchup bottle that's sitting on the table, I can't pick that up, right? You go to other games and those items you can pick up. And I know last year at CitizenCon, they showed us a little bit of that. So I know that it's coming.
Right.
But I would hope that comes sooner rather than later, because it just makes the universe feel more immersive, and that's what they're going for with these physicalized things anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Good points. It could be like in Starfield where you can have 1,000 sandwiches on your ship. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also different in Starfield. Go ahead.
We did talk about having a couple people going through physicalizing items this last year. They've been talking about it where people are just, somebody's job is to go through and try to physicalize everything because,
like Jade said, it's coming down the pipe.
That's all we need is Drake's exploding because of a rampant ketchup bottle.
Rolling around in your ship, right? My Lynx already does that. Drake. My Lynx already does that. Kalrati, let's get your 2 in.
Yeah, so this isn't my most popular one, but after talking to some, who, I'm not trying to boast or anything, but my eyesight, I'm really proud of my eyesight. But for those whose eyesight isn't all that good, I would really like to see some slightly better adaptive contrast with regards to the UI. Sometimes in some dark environments it's great, but when it comes to two things, really bright environments, and also when you have a sea of either good targets or bad targets, like for example Vandal Swarm, Endless Mode, it is very difficult to know, to even see what the main target is sometimes. So I would really like to see some better adaptive contrast to the targeting, to the UI, as soon as it can be prioritized.
Yeah, that's a good point to make, Griff, because we got to speak up for our brothers and sisters who are colorblind as well. They need a lot of help, and they're waiting for that.
It is. And we have a couple of good friends who that is one of the reasons why, and they've supported this game. They've been looking forward to that, being able to control colors within the HUDs that they can see, and it's very frustrating for them. CIG has just recently done some adjustments in 320, where the background gets darker with the mobiGlas, there's some color shifts, but they want to be able to allow players to customize their colors based upon eyesight. We kind of take it for granted for those of us who don't suffer from that, but for people who do, it would definitely enhance gameplay for them.
Let's just do movable HUDs. I think they're going to do it. With, they're going to do it with building blocks. They're supposed to be moving it over with the new stuff, the building blocks. But I mean, come on, you built it this way. Like, who said it was a good idea to build it this way? I mean,
And I don't think anybody said it was a good idea to build it this way. I think they were using cheap tools. That's why most of it's built on Flash, because they were starting out their own company. Like they didn't have all the tools that they had, so they just used what was available, and it's come back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just wondering how much of the code for the Viz stuff is actually still commented out, and they haven't ever gone back through and cleaned it up. And that's why we have the weird artifacts that we have.
Let me say this, Angry PC Tech. My prayer is, and I know Kalrati, was that the only one you had, Kalrati? You got another one?
That's the only one.
Okay, my prayer to your point, Angry PC Tech, is that 4.0 is that. It's exactly that. That all that old code that they have spent time weeding that stuff out, and that's where we have the change happen. I don't know if that's a reality, but we know that there's been millions of lines of code over the years that needs to be corrected and done right. So hopefully that's what 4.0 means on a dark back end side of things for me. We just had a raid from Splin Shepherd. Splin Shepherd. Thank you for that raid of 60 folks. We appreciate that. We're about wrapping up the show, folks, but we are doing a fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Hospital. You guys are amazing. You guys hit the 5,500 mark before the top of the hour. So thank you for that. We really appreciate that for St. Jude Children's Hospital. We really, really do appreciate that. I got to get ready to wrap this up a little bit here, but I guess I got one more thing to close out with. So GoMob, could you very quickly go ahead and share your thoughts real quick on the game tech piece?
So I'll be really quick. Right now, the database thing is top of mind, right? Just from my technical background, I understand that they're tied at the hip with AWS, and so I know that they haven't released what graph database they were using, but so I'm going to assume that they were using Neptune, and it's trash. Sorry, sorry, Bezos. Sorry, Bezos, but like I am. Look, me personally, I am making money moving people off of Neptune onto another graph database that is much more robust and better and performant than them. Unfortunately, based upon where they're hosting, I don't know if that's going to be an option, but it's sad that they are stuck there. You know what I'm saying? Like, hopefully they can find another graph database and that they don't regret their decision to get married to Mr. Bezos in this juncture. That was always the risk, right? That, you know, this relationship with AWS could lead to them running headfirst into the brick wall of the technical limitations of that service, and that since they didn't remain independent of that, they weren't able to go and find the best of breed that they needed. So I don't know, right? Hopefully, maybe, and Chris did say that they went and found something that they thought was supposed to be performant enough to handle the amount of transactions. So maybe they got something different, right? Maybe, but if that's a possibility. So they may not be on Neptune. So don't take it from me. I have no inside information, just assumptions based upon my knowledge of the market. But that's going to be critical. The back-end infrastructure of this game is going to make or break it. Right? And the other side of that challenge coin is that the database is one side of it, but the other side is the structure of your queries and your data. I think CIG needs to make sure that they are being as efficient as possible. If they are just fire hosing this database with data that it doesn't need to track at all times, then they need to not do that. There's some efficiencies that can possibly be found there, and that's just me saying this from someone who has intimate knowledge of that space, and as a armchair dev in a sense. So that's it.
Thank you, Griff. Let me say this for Kelosal. Yes, you guys are blowing it out the water. You've hit $5,700. An extra $200 just came in Gomab's a passion speech must have gave somebody's wallet to fly open. So thank you guys for putting us at 5,700. We were, and listen, if we hit that 6,000, I mean, that would be great. But we're going to go ahead. Colossal, go ahead, because I got to wrap this up and I got to throw mine in still. What are we going to say?
That's fantastic. I was saying that Gomab took your spot because I swore that Angry gave Gomab the opportunity to share his thoughts.
Yeah, I know. But I know. He took
so
he double dipped. He double dipped, right? He double dipped.
Yeah, he double dipped. He could have yielded on that one. Nice one, Gomab. You got 4 of them.
He slid it in. He slid it in. Okay, I'm going to suggest one that I do not have the technical depth that many of these very intelligent people on this panel have, but this is just a practical thought. It may not be realistic. It may not be economical, but I've heard people say this before, and I kind of tweak it a little bit. I honestly wish, and I know some people are not going to like this idea, that the PTU remain the PTU all the time with anything new that's being introduced, and that the live servers remain the stable version of the game, and nothing goes to the live version until we know the PTU. Now, mind you, I know there's a stress aspect and people have to be on, need bodies, but what draws people into the PTU is the new stuff. It's the stuff that people want to see the latest of. And if those mechanics are in there, then it may take 6 months. It may take 9 months before it goes live. But people will play in that buggy side because you do hear people say when the game is in a bad state, they just want to be able to play the game. And so that's what you choose. If you just want to play the game and not deal with bugs, you stay in the live service. And if you want to play with the new toys and get all the ice cream, then you got to be willing to swallow it in the PTU. Now, I don't know if that's feasible or not, but that's kind of how I feel about it at this point. I wish the PTU, if that's bug central, let that be bug central. If you want to play with the new ship that came out or the new game mechanic, you're signing off saying, I know that this sucker sucks over here. Maybe it might be good, might be bad. But if you can't handle the bugs, because one of the things I've heard people say about Starfield, and I'm not throwing shade on Starfield. I ask people, how do you enjoy Starfield? Woo, no bugs. That's one of the biggest responses I get.
That's not true. I've seen NPCs stand on chairs for Starfield.
No. I mean, comparatively, I know there are bugs. I've seen some bugs in it, but comparatively. And what I'm saying is that frustration that people feel in Star Citizen when they go into Starfield, they just feel like, oh, at least I'm not getting this. And that's how they feel. And I'm just saying that's how I think the live server should be. I can come there. I might run to a couple things here and there. It's not perfect, but it's running. But if you want to play with the new toys, you go into the PTU. That's my feeling on that. Okay.
Would you be okay with the live being frozen pretty much for like a year?
Wouldn't
like
bother me.
2017?
Listen, I don't have a problem going into PTU. I go into PTU all the time.
Okay.
I'd stay in the PTU with the bugs. I do it now. It doesn't bother me. You don't hear me complain about the bug. If the PTU's that bad and I can't play it, I just don't play it. I just say, okay.
So basically you're wanting a tiered approach, Yes. And it makes sense. So if they took like this new PTU wave system they did where it's tied to like either your subscription level or your concierge level and had separate PTU servers that are testing different levels of text, and once it got to the highest level, it had advanced through each tier of that, then they go, okay, it's ready for live, and then it pushes to live. That would be the only way they could do it, is if they had separate, but then you're going to have multiple PTUs taking resources.
There's a cost,
away
right, exactly. That's why I said I don't know if it's economical. That's what I was saying. I don't know if it's economical, resource-wise or money-wise to do that.
There's also a little thing about merging code. So if you have multiple PTUs running, you have multiple sets of code running, and then you got to merge them all together, and you don't know if the bugs fixed. Like somebody's working on a new ship on one version of the PTU, they fix all the bugs with the ship, but they probably created some bug that causes all the space stations to disassemble rapidly.
Yeah.
Like it's always, there's always this trade-off in any kind of construction, really, of quality, time, and
resources. Yeah, I get it.
Resources. Yeah. And so, like, I don't know.
It may not be practical. It may sound good. It may not be realistic in the real world.
I think one part though that I have to kind of contradict you, as much as I hate to do that, is that the PTU isn't really for going in and checking out the new toys. The PTU is going in and testing out the new thing.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I don't feel that way. No, don't get me wrong. I don't feel that way. I'm saying there are people who come into the PTU exclusively because there's a new
right.
toy. That's all I'm saying. Not me.
Right.
I'm just saying that's what
well,
people
no,
do.
I mean, you said if you want to see the new stuff, get into the PTU, otherwise stay in live. So it's just kind of like I mean, I've been fighting this for a while. Of people, especially with the whole new wave situation when they came out. All these people were like, "Man, I only log into the PTU to see my new stuff, and Wave 1 made me feel special." And I'm like, "Okay, that's nice, but you're not doing what we need you to do in PTU, specifically ETF, Wave 1, Wave 2. Those need concurrency. Those need players in there." Pushing the limits, trying to break the game, and that's really the disconnect that I see with the community and the PTU in general.
They don't know that, Doc. They don't know that's the goal.
They just see the PTU as some kind of early access for special backers, and it makes them feel sad about it. And then when they see it, they load in, and it's fucking crashy. And it's extremely crashy. And there's all this nonsense going on, and people are like, this game's so broken. Why do I even bother? And you're like, well, you're in the testing phase of the testing phase of the testing phase. Like, what do you expect?
I'm gonna let Angry PC Tech close us out because we're over time here. Go ahead, Angry PC Tech.
On the other side of that, going off what Dr. Murray was saying there, so okay, let's look at it like this. You have the PTU and the tier steps that are set up, but say for example, when you're at the final wave right before it goes live, you shut down the PU and push everybody to the PTU so they can load test it and find any of those erroneous errors that they weren't expecting. And if they find them, instead of pushing it, okay, open PU up and everybody can go back there. That for lack of a better term, it's kind of like, all right, guys, unfortunately, we need load over here to test this. You're not going over here. We're going to make you go over here. It's part of it. You're in a alpha game. We're here to test. You're either going to test or we're going to shut down the stable environment you enjoy so that we can make the next update the stable environment you want to continue to enjoy.
In order for them to do that, they have to automate the back end copying. You shouldn't have to copy your own stuff over to the PTU.
But that I wouldn't have a problem with that. Okay, listen, great ideas, great suggestions. We could blow this last subject out for 2-3 hours easily, but I do want to say thank you to Dr. Murray, to Angry PC Tech. Both of them have just shared a great wealth of knowledge with us today and really appreciate them and want them. Dr. Murray, you've been a veteran. You've been here several times. Angry PC Tech, we hope we can customize something that'll let you come and share even more on the show because we really appreciate you within 24 hours coming on to the show. Tell us where Angry PC Tech, tell people where they can find you because Dr. Murray got to do that earlier. Where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitch, Angry PC Tech, Twitter, or X, whatever you prefer. The Angry PC Tech, YouTube, Angry PC Tech, and on TikTok, Angry PC Tech and the Angry Photon.
Okay, awesome. Once again, for St. Jude Children's Hospital, you guys were amazing today. Those of you who have gone already, you'll see this video later maybe. We raised $5,700 so far. We're still working toward our goal of $10,000 by October 22nd, CitizenCon weekend. So tell a friend, tell a family member, post it on your social media, let people know that they can come here. There's QR codes in our social media on Twitter. You can forward that. People can scan that. That's a great way to do it as well. Want to give a shout out to all my Soul Team members. They just pushed it this weekend, came in, shared. Everybody who was here earlier today from 10 a.m. all the way till now, 10 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the best team ever, especially GoMab with that hair and that beard. I'm digging it, even though he got the hat on today. Let me very quickly. Yeah, I know. There we go. I know. To GoMab, to Kalrati, to Jade, to Kelosal, thank you guys for pushing this last hour, helping us get to the goal. To all of you who've been here with us today, thank you so much for sharing, for tweeting, for passing on the information. To all those who rated us today, you guys are wonderful. Thank you for thinking of us all the way from Salty Mike, all the way down to the very last raid we got, which was from Spleen. Yeah, I can't find the name. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find the name. Yeah, Spleen Sheen. Thank you so much for sending your 60 wonderful people over here as well to help support the goal. And again, for the 5,700 that you guys made. We are done.
I hate to jump into your clothes.
Go ahead.
But I want to give you your flowers.
Oh, thank you.
Griff, what you've done today with this stream and with this channel, you are the epitome of this community. And I want to make sure that I take the time here to make sure you know how much we appreciate you for everything that you do.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Now, where the flowers at? Where the flowers at?
Amen to that.
Well, listen, this was my birthday weekend. You guys don't know. I was up late
Happy
last night.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
I'm gonna put pictures up later. My family threw me a Star Wars, Star Trek birthday. I had about 40 people there. Everybody was dressed in Star Trek and Star Wars. It was amazing. It caught me completely off guard. It was very, very cool.
I was disappointed in your regalia, Griff, but that's okay.
Oh, what? Because I came as a Jedi. There was a Sith there. There was a Sith there. By the way, my best friend came as a Sith, Kelosal. I want you to know that. But I will show some pictures on this show next Saturday. On the Saturday after the show, I'll show some pictures from it. But it was a great time. But also, I loved doing this. It was Fastcart and I spent a lot of time. We had to do duplicates of the show so that he could run it and I could run it because I had to be gone for a couple hours because my mom celebrated her birthday, her 100th birthday, and they wanted to honor her at her church today. So that's why I had to duck out earlier. So it's been a crazy day.
Oh,
yes, GoMob. I crossed 60. My mom hit 100 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so there you go. Bro.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, thank you guys so much. And again, I appreciate the acknowledgement, GoMabbing from the team. I really do. Okay, next Sunday. Don't forget Thursday night is Fast Cart with Soul Talk at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. My show is Soul Voices on Saturday, which is at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, our topic is working at Cloud Imperium. We're going to be talking about the different roles. These people that come on SCL and talk and they tell you, oh, I'm a graphic artist 3 or this, that, and the other. We're going to be talking about what all of those different titles mean. It's going to be next week and the importance of that in the development of game development. So hopefully you guys can join us on next Sunday for that. Once again, thank you for everybody who's here. You guys have a great week. Stay safe. And as we always tell you guys every week, peace, love, and soul. We got to do a raid. Who's on? Somebody look at the raid thing for me. Look on what you call it real quick and tell me who's on that I can raid.
I don't know. Go knows.
Who's on? There's got to be somebody doing Star Citizen tonight. Who's doing Tarsai? Quelsar. Is Quelsar on tonight? Oh, Ender's on. Yep. Let's send him over to Ender. Because he just got on. He's got 8 folks, our folk friends from Star Jump, because they helped contribute today.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to hit Ender. We've done Quelsar, but we haven't done Ender in a while. When you guys get over to see Ender, let him know that you came over from the Soul Citizens. He is a beloved friend of ours as well. If you like what you see, of course, follow him, give him a shout. And encourage him because he's a great guy. He does charity. In fact, he did St. Jude at the beginning of the year and asked us to participate, but we had another thing going, so we couldn't do it then. So let him know that you came over and that we did St. Jude. That'll put a big smile on his face. Once again, take care of yourself. Stay safe. Peace, love, and soul. We'll see you guys real soon. Take care.